electric vehicle industry, which is set to become one of the most lucrative.
Hello. This is the Morning Gardener, and I am back still talking about getting that garden together for spring. Now, we just had the presidential thing go on, and it's going to be quite a challenge to a lot of people getting up to snuff on what they need to do. But I feel like I have a very good chance at having a successful crops from here on out. One is I'm using a technique when it comes to using certain fertilizers. It's called microdosing, and it's like one other video of microdosing on um, YouTube, and it's very old and very poor condition of video, and it only shows that one or two videos that I found that show that a country that's poor, such as Africa, when it comes to certain things they pour in, and their uh, agriculture is one of them. That in certain parts of Africa, the soil is somewhat poor, and a lot of us here have a problem with poor soil because if you look at soil and you look at how those areas that you're trying to grow crops in once were and how they are now. There was once upon a time, there were many trees everywhere and lots of different types of plants that grew everywhere. Now, that being said, now you have people that have properties that's been around for 100 years or 50 years or 60 years or whatever. And it's just a property where you have grass that grows there. The trees are long gone, many moons ago, they're gone. Now, that means that the area has been altered, has been changed. And when that happens, people can't grow once they want, like they once, grew things. So now we're in a situation where um, our soil in certain areas become poor. So Africa's using, in some areas, a technique called microdosing. And what that is simply is that you put a plant or you put seeds in the ground, but you only fertilize just that seed or just that plant. Thus microdosing. So if you have a pepper plant, for instance, you put it in the ground and you put around it a certain portion of manure, or you put compost, and or a little bit of the container this size, scooped out of your bag, some dried, um, some dried, what we call fertilizer, just right there at the base of the plant. And what that does is it gives the plant all it needs to survive, so that it wouldn't suffer from not having enough or the right ingredients to grow, to mature. So if you have poor soil, you can tell sometimes you have poor soil. And some of you have already faced these issues. If you have poor soil, you're going to have poor growth to your plants. That means that the ability to grow large, sweet tomatoes doesn't exist. You only get a few tomatoes, or you may get no tomatoes, or you may get a few pieces of corn, or you may get no corn. And that means sometimes that your soil is not able to support these plants the correct way. So microdosing allows you to put the seed in the ground or the plant, and right around the base, put a little bit of fertilizer there, or fertilizer and some compost at the base of it. And that will help your plant to stay moist. That would help your plant to stay, uh, um, well, what we call hydrated, and also have nutrients. So the plant is able to eat the small amount of dried fertilizer and also that compost or manure that's around the base of this plant. It helps your plants to have what they need when they need it. Moisture is also an issue, and the fertilizer that you put around in the form of compost or in the form of manure will be there so your plant can get what it needs. And that, folks, is very, very important to make sure your plants have what they need. It's so essential. It's so essential. A lot of us grow what we think. Well, we try to grow what we want, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't jive. It doesn't come out the way you want it to. Hello, how you doing, Mr. Price? I see you there now. Good morning, Garner. Good to have you back. My soil has serious limitations. Cannot grow everything, and slowly learning what works here. That's perfect. That's perfect. Same thing going on. You are not by yourself, Mr. Price. There are a whole lot of other gardeners out there. All you have to do is really just look at their videos and you'll see certain things going on. Like they don't have a lot of anything really growing. They have certain amounts of certain things, but not a lot. And I know that is signs a lot of times of either poor soil, uh, inadequate watering, uh, and you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the plant. A lot of people lose it when it comes to uh, hydrating the plant properly, and also the other thing is making certain that the plant gets the right amount of fertilizers. Oh, hello, how you doing, Creek Walker? Oh, all right, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Cold hardy kiwi is well in my backyard. Oh, well, you did good because I had a kiwi plant. We were talking about that a while back. I have a kiwi plant that grew for 2 years and then it died when it got down to about 6 degrees uh, one night, and it died. I had to move a different way because ever since my accident, my hand here gets extremely numb if I lay on it a certain way. So I had to move it. I said, wait a minute, my hand's getting numb. Nerve damage, they call it. But at any rate, I'm excited. I will be starting my seeds soon. I've already started my ginger, and when I do my seeds, they're going to be grown at what they call winter sowing. I'll put that together. And winter sowing, there's a ton of videos out there. You don't need to come to me for any videos on winter sowing because there's so many other good winter sowing videos out there. And you get the seeds started because what's going on here is that the seeds, plants, and all of that's going to be very expensive. Fertilizer. I looked up a couple bags of fertilizer, and I got to tell you, they are expensive now. One place I looked was Home Depot, and they were averaging around $13 to $16 a bag for fertilizer. Now, the thing about fertilizer in the dry form, a lot of times you don't have to use a lot of fertilizer, but you don't want to fertilize grass and weeds by spreading fertilizer over the whole area. You do microdosing, and you're only feeding at the base just that one plant, just that one plant. You go to the next plant and you microdose, and the next plant you microdose, and you also put down a little bit of compost right next to the same plant or manure, and the plant will grow beautifully, as opposed to um, uh, not being able to fertilize a whole area and spend lots of money in fertilizer and also be feeding plants that you don't want to grow, like weeds and grass. I cut my grass down before I start in my area where I'm growing. And I take the grass and I put it around my plant that I want it to grow, my crop, and I put it around the crop. When I do this, it will feed that plant. It will keep the plant temperature moderated. It also will keep the ground fertilized. That's what I want to do with the grass. And grass, where I grow up at, is free. It's not going to cost me anything to take a mower with a bag on it and cut down the grass, collect the grass, put it around the plants, put the microdosing of dry fertilizer around each one, and have my plants benefit from it because of the simple fact that I am not fertilizing the entire ground. I might be able to get away with having one bag of fertilizer and be able to do all the gardening I'm gonna do this year and maybe next year. But that's how you want to do it. You don't want to do it the old way where you just uh, put it in a spreader, the fertilizer, and crank it and fertilize the whole area, or you got to push behind and fertilize the whole area. You don't want to be doing that. That's just too much money, too much waste, and you want to try to avoid that because everything we can already see based on what we've heard on the news about the new presidential thing there. Uh, Prices are not going to be reduced. Food's going to go through the roof. Car repairs, car purchases, furniture, rent, home purchases, all that's going to go through the roof. And we want to at least be able to have some control over the food that we eat. We want to eat quality food that's not heavily doped up with all kind of chemicals. And we don't want to try to get too much, uh, uh, you know, items to purchase at the store. There's a really skyrocketing prices. You want to be able to buy quality food, peppers and apples and uh, strawberries. And strawberries, what do you do with strawberries? Strawberry plants, you buy them. They're an arm and a leg when you try to buy strawberry plants. Don't go buy the plants. Buy the pack of strawberries, the kind that you like. Peel them thinly. Place the little seeds that's on the skin in the soil. Lightly cover them with soil. Moisten them and keep an eye on them. And when they start growing, you have all the plants you need. You don't need to go out and spend $20 for a certain number of plants or $30 for the number of plants. Buy the strawberries and get the seeds that grow on the outside of the skin and just plant them. Why would you want to go any other place? You know, seeds that are sold are expensive now, and you want to start getting into saving your own seeds. Take care of that, and your seeds will take care of you. This has been the Morning Garden, and thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to take all the messages that people give me through this video, and I'll answer each one. And I want them to also subscribe to my channel. I hate to keep saying that, but I want them to because it's a beautiful thing to stay in touch with each of you and be able to pass this information back and forward. I'm not getting um, I'm not getting rich off of doing this. I like doing it because I like to see people progress and do better, and that's why I do it. This is the Morning Gardener, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, and let's do it again soon.